Oh my gosh. Hey, everybody.
Holy
We
moly!
are live. And hey, that new pre show video while we send out our invites and shares. What do you guys think about our technical upgrades that keep happening? Oh, man.
Does it make us look
It
professional?
does, except for you guys. It doesn't matter. Hey, everybody, we are Homerphilia. We're going live again. We're doing these live shows Sundays and Thursdays. My laser, I'm a firings back in the chat. The boys are back in town. Laser, it's good to see you again, and
Boys are back in
everybody else.
town.
So
Our only friend.
we are doing this show in light of the quarantine and all this stuff. We are doing these shows remotely, so we are not in the same place. We are connected via Skype, and we're using all this technical stuff to do this show live for you. The audio of this recording will be released on the Homerphilia podcast page. That's wherever your podcasts can be found. Wherever you get them, go subscribe to us. This will come out in probably a couple months from now. The audio will come out. But you can check us out right now because we're gonna do this
We,
show live.
for
Um,
those of you unfamiliar with our podcast, we had a backlog of episodes. So if you subscribe to our podcast feed wherever you listen to podcasts, we still have pre-coronavirus
oh yeah, we do.
episodes coming out
Hell yeah, buddy.
that actually have good audio, and we're actually sitting in the same room,
Right.
so we
With
can
guests, and we had guests.
with guests.
That was the main feature of our show is we have
Um,
a guest every
so
week.
the
Um,
our style of episode has changed drastically, but we are still here
uh,
to talk about cool shit.
So
Like,
what we're gonna do
Kind of.
is I'm going to give a little countdown, and the countdown we give right now that is going to be after this countdown. That's where the audio for the podcast that will be released at a later date. That's where that audio is going to start. We're gonna rip it right off this recording, and we'll go from there. Without further ado, let's get the ball rolling. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh my gosh.
Ernest goes to Africa.
Yeah. Hey,
Nice.
all of our Homerphiliacs out there. We're doing something different this week. This is Homerphilia with Devin and Andy and Darren, and we decided to take a little go off on a little tangent here. We've
Yeah,
been
so here's the thing: is that we've been recording this here show for, I don't know, what do you think, like 4, 5, 6 months? Something like
I
that?
think it's
4,
actually
5, 6 months.
I think we've cleared 6 months. I really do.
6 months,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
in 6 months, we've burned through 2 whole seasons of the goddamn Simpsons.
Yeah, plus and
In
change.
6
Two
months.
two and change.
It's crazy.
So we're thinking, if it only took us 6 months to get through 2, then it would take us only 6 years to burn through the whole fucking show.
Right.
So we gotta slow
We
down.
gotta slow down. Oh yeah, buddy. We gotta
We
slow
gotta
down.
slow
You gotta
down.
pump the brakes.
So if you know anything about us, everybody at home, it's that we often, really, I think it's fair to say this is a show of tangential conversation about The Simpsons. I think that is a fair judgment to make. Really, of our hour-long plus episodes, probably, at best, half of it is Simpsons. At worst, nowhere close to half of it Simpsons. We're not scared to talk about anything that we feel like we need to talk about. And lately, last live show, we got on the topic of the 1997 film Ernest Goes to Africa. And jokingly, we said, hey, let's take a break from The Simpsons and let's do an episode about Ernest Goes to Africa. And we all watched it, right, guys?
I think.
Oh,
I
you
think,
bet we did.
Oh, yeah, that
I
face
just want to
says it
step
all.
out and say,
Yeah, go ahead.
pretty rude of you to call it a film.
Oh,
I
yes,
think it's more of a project
right.
or
Masterpiece.
We'll,
a masterpiece.
yeah, we'll call it wasted potential. That's another one we could use. Yeah, I agree.
Distillation
Film.
of creative genius.
Oh, creative genius. That
So-
is a stretch, also.
So this guy,
Yeah, you. Andy.
grew up watching Ernest movies.
And I honestly, I want to have a discussion with your parents about this because I don't know what kids these movies were made for. If
okay, I will say straight up,
Perverts.
go ahead, yeah, perverts.
there are some that are like very kid friendly, kid oriented. Ernest Scared Stupid is like a Halloween movie.
Okay.
Ernest Goes to School, a movie set in a school.
Mm-hmm.
There's one called Ernest Goes to Jail where he gets his identity switched with a murderer, and he's imprisoned, and the guy that looks just like him is out in the world, and he does some really bad stuff.
Yeah, no, I believe it. He did a lot of bad stuff in this movie that we watched
does he
today.
shoplift?
He like assaults a woman at one point.
Oh wow.
So there's this weird thing where there's some really dark shit in Ernest movies sometimes, and this one was so dark.
Yeah, it was
There
not.
a guy got murdered like 2 minutes into this movie.
Yeah, and
There
like
murders.
I texted you a few times while watching this because I've never seen an Ernest movie before. Like a lot of things, I missed out on a lot of TV and film stuff. I don't know why, but we know this, and I genuinely did not understand who this movie was for. Andy
Little
said
stinkers.
kids. You guys said it's a kids movie. What
Here's
fucking
the thing.
parents in their right mind would
Varney.
what?
Jim Varney, the guy that plays Ernest.
Yeah, that fucking guy.
He did Ernest Goes to School
Yeah.
for them, and then he was like, now I'm gonna do one for me.
Oh, okay. So he's like, what is this? He's George Clooneying this thing? Is that what that is? Okay,
He
cool.
did
I
one
get it.
for
I get
them,
it.
And then he did one for him.
So this one
And-
is the one for him? Is what you're telling me?
Yeah.
The one where the guy goes in blackface and there's murders and theft. The one where at one point he joins a harem. And that's funny. That's funny when the guy's all creepy and weird to him when he's dressed up as a girl. That's funny to me. You guys, there was not one redeemable moment in this entire movie. And again, I'm using the term lightly when we say movie or film or project or really anything.
So as somebody that grew up watching Ernest movies,
You seem like you grew up watching Ernest.
Yeah.
thank you. Ernest Goes to Camp, stone cold classic. Ernest Scared Stupid, stone cold classic.
I got a pitch for one. I would make an Ernest movie called Ernest Scared Stinky. And it's where Ernest gets so scared he gets stinky.
This one was, so this is how we got on this topic. We were talking
Right.
about Ernest movies. This one came up in the context of, as a self-avowed childhood fan of Ernest movies,
Right.
this one was impossible to see. They buried it so fast. I believe this is the last one they ever made.
It is direct to video.
It is direct to video. Well, most of them were direct to video.
I wonder why.
Some were theatrical.
This one, so I never had the opportunity to see it. I assumed that it was horrific. It somehow was worse than I ever imagined
it was.
being. So one thing he's just a lovable idiot. He's like Gumpian.
Again,
He's like,
using the term
he's like
lovable real lightly here, buddy.
I'm talking about the Ernest oeuvre, not in this movie.
This is the only thing I have to reference.
Never even crossed my mind that he would be in blackface in this movie, and it's the first goddamn thing he does when he gets to Africa.
Yeah.
It is
Immediately.
unbelievable.
Erect.
Yeah, right. No.
Okay.
I really
It does not.
am. I did not think it would be as bad as it is. And again, like I expected it to not be good. I even think that like the would be like kid gag, if you get outside of like the straight up politically incorrect stuff in this film and you go to even just like the funny like hijinks that's supposed to ensue, none of it was good or funny to me. None. Not even a little bit.
Here's my.
What did you laugh at, Andy?
here's my shameless
Yeah, let's hear it.
admission here is that I thought some of the physical gags were pretty good.
Which
Yeah,
ones did you
really?
think were good?
What gags? Name names.
I thought him fighting against the car getting jacked up was, was very funny. He got trapped in a convertible as it was like getting jacked up in a car garage, and he got smushed up against the ceiling. I thought that was funny. I thought him not being able to get the birdhouse off his finger was good. He's like,
What?
How did
he's
you
a
think that's
musical
good?
performer.
Why wouldn't he just like again? He spent $40 on a birdhouse because he couldn't get off his finger, and he doesn't have the communication skills to just be like, "Hey, guy, your birdhouse is stuck on my finger." Like for me, that's just idiotic. That bit's dumb. Like, why are you embarrassed to say, "I just got it stuck on my finger. I don't want to give you money, guy"?
As a nostalgia bit for remembering things from childhood, Ernest being grossed out was very funny to me. When he goes,
dude,
that was always good.
It's so like the hyper close-ups on his face are so unsettling to me because like that's his thing. It's like his mouth is all moving like all like half that movie was like me like right now. Half of it was this.
You want to know why? And we talked about it a little bit. Ernest began as a series of commercials, and the guy who created the character directed the movie, and it is shot like a commercial.
Yes.
Like all of
A
it
commercial
looks
for
like a
what?
commercial.
Bad fucking movies?
Ernest did commercials for everything, like hot dogs, cable companies, local car dealerships. There are
any of them
honestly
still in
probably
business or like what's
1,000.
up? Because
Here are the two best. As the person that seemingly had the most laughs out of this movie, the two funniest parts of the movie were when he saves himself from almost drowning in the river, and he comes up against a crocodile, and he takes his fingers like this and defends himself by
Puts it in his nose.
poking the crocodile in the nose. That was great.
I liked
And
the.
then-
Oh, go ahead.
And then the line, he's getting like kidnapped, and he's mad about his jeans, and he goes, "These are pre-washed jeans. Do you know how hard it is to get spear holes out of pre-washed jeans?"
Andy, the part of you that likes this is the part of you that's always writing Little Rascal gags into shows we do.
Yes. Objectively, you know how hard it is to get spear holes out of pre-washed jeans. Objectively funny line.
I'll give you one thing that I thought was funny. I don't think it belongs in a kids movie at all, but I thought it was funny when he gives her a gift and she's like, "You're just a schmo," and then there's the throwaway line that she has about him just being a worthless person, but there's a throwaway line how she's going to keep his gift and cherish it forever, that she's got a shelf at home full of schmo gifts. I thought that was a funny line.
So there's a couple things. I think there's a couple things you, as an uninitiated Ernest,
As an earnest virgin.
Vernist.
Burnist.
Vern, he never shouts out Vern. Ernest is a master of disguise.
Not the master of disguise, but a master of
another movie I hate.
That might be the next one we do.
I will not, dude. Can we do one for you, one for me? Can we do that, please? Because I don't love the movies that lean hard on these like physical gags. I just fucking hate them. I hate them so much. I don't
like physical gags.
I mean, I don't like the Master of Disguise. I don't like like the Dumb and Dumber. I don't like most of Jim Carrey's stuff. I know.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah, I will do it. I will.
Pause.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, did you just lump Dumb and Dumber in with Master of Disguise?
Yes, I'm lumping it in as the gold standard, one of the gold standards of like physical comedy ones, not Master of Disguise. Jim Carrey in general, and I think that the same with like Ace Ventura. These physical comedy, like physical gags, I just don't. they just are unsettling and weird to
Yeah.
me. I don't think it's funny when like guy does thing that guy normally shouldn't do because it's weird and that's
okay,
weird.
but wouldn't it be funny if guy does thing he normally shouldn't do?
No, I don't think
Again,
that it is.
I have to slow this conversation.
Go ahead, slow it down. Let's do this. We'll get into it.
Just say straight off the bat, Dumb and Dumber does not belong in the conversation you're having right now.
I think
Ace
that
Ventura,
Dumb and Dumber.
Sure. Dumb and Dumber is one of the best comedy movies of all time.
It is the gold standard of the worst genre of comedy movies.
Disagree.
Listen, as two people on this podcast are writing a sequel to a Farrelly Brothers movie right now.
That's fine.
We're not going to be disparaged.
I think there's a place for it, and I think that physical comedy in general works a lot better in a sketch show or an improv show than it does in a fucking feature film. I don't think it translates well, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
I don't think that Dumb and Dumber is a physical comedy movie.
Okay, fine. But
yeah.
I will.
Okay,
you're right. I will remove Dumb and Dumber from this conversation because you're right. It does deserve a little bit more respect than a little bit more respect than physical comedy movies.
I'm gonna watch that movie with you because I'm telling you right now, one of the best movies of all time.
I don't agree, and I will rewatch it.
Where did it stand in terms of Little Rascals? Where are you ranking that?
Okay.
Top five comedy movies of all time.
Go ahead.
Just off the top of my head.
Right.
Little Rascals. Little
Dennis the Menace.
Ernest Scared Stupid. Dennis the Menace. Casper. Dumb and Dumber.
Casper's not a comedy.
Sorry, it is a.
Casper's a romance.
I hate
Shut
this.
up.
Sorry.
You have.
I'll put that. I'll put blank check in there.
Blank Check fucking rocks. Do you guys want to do Blank Check next week?
I would do Blank Check over fucking anything that has Ernest in it. I never want to see this goddamn guy again in my entire life.
Okay, there was one Ernest movie after this called Ernest in the Army.
Yeah, what is that? Just what happens there? I can't even imagine.
He already has been to Vietnam according to this movie because he does refer to a Vietnam flashback.
So again, there's a couple of things that Ernest always does. He plays that old woman character. He gets himself out of jams by playing characters.
Yeah.
And then he also like waxes poetic sometimes. He just like goes off on these really like dramatic tangents. That's a big feature of all the Ernest movies.
Okay.
Is when he like goes verbose.
I'm going to go ahead and say that during the course of Homerphilia, we are going to watch and do an episode about every single Ernest movie.
I am going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that right now, Ernest Goes to Africa is my least favorite movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
We have 8 more Ernest movies to watch, so get ready.
I really hope there's not one that's worse than this one. I really, from the bottom of my heart, hope that.
Jim Varney really stopped at 9. He couldn't get the 10th.
Right.
10th one out.
Okay,
he died of lung cancer.
You know what, you guys? For next Sunday, can we do Dumb and Dumber for real? Because Alex Bergman's is getting mad at me. People in the chat are getting mad at me for my opinions on Dumb and Dumber. I will give it another shot. I have not watched it in my adult life, I don't think.
So I think what you're thinking of is the poop scene.
I'm probably, there's not very many poop scenes that I like in movies. I don't think poop humor is funny.
The scene in the Dumb and Dumber prequel rocks because he has a chocolate bar and that guy's like, he's shit everywhere. That rocks.
Excuse me, you just said Bob Saget was that guy. Give him some goddamn
Bob Saget? I thought it was the other Bob Saget.
So are we doing God damn it. Are we doing let's do Dumb and Dumber for next Sunday. So we'll come back. I mean, next Thursday. So we're going to come back with Homerphilia, an actual Simpsons episode on Sunday. But next Thursday, we'll do Dumb and Dumber. Is that cool? I guess.
Jim Varney died making Ernest the Pirate, apparently.
Oh, so there was a 10th one.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a horrible smoker, and he
was bad at it.
He was really bad at smoking. No, but he would never allow himself to be filmed smoking in a movie because he was like, it basically ruined my life, and I'm a children's entertainer, and I don't want them ever seeing smoking as a good thing.
That's why I thought it was fucked up that in Toy Story 3, after he died, they did make Slinky Dog smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
Is that just Jim Varney's regular voice? Because Ernest and Slinky Dog have the same voice.
Yeah.
Does he just talk like that?
God,
Yes.
Oh boy.
I don't
That's how it
understand that voice. I don't understand like I was trying to find like a frame in which he's just got like a natural resting face on his face, and there isn't one because he's always doing this weirdo fucking I don't even know what it is, man. I'm genuinely offended by his face. I really
think
am.
that he is a talented man.
I'm sure he's talented, and like I said, I would in the text to you, I would love to see him like out out in public or just like hanging out with people to see what this dude's really like, because I can't imagine he's proud of himself for
Late,
Ernest.
motherfucker.
Yeah, well, whatever, man. I'm just saying, like, show me some footage of this guy just being a real human being and not having his face.
I also would like to see the footage of him and Freddie Mercury having sex.
Yeah, that too, maybe. Why not? It would be better than any fucking Ernest movie ever made. Maybe you'd like get some like real human emotion instead of this like comical bullshit.
Anyway,
what you need to know is that comedy didn't have to be funny back then.
Right, and it wasn't. I'm so angry about this movie, you guys.
The goal of comedy movies was never to be funny until about 2004.
All right.
Yeah, until Superbad, 40-Year-Old Virgin started the trend of comedy being funny.
We can all agree that the 40-Year-Old Virgin started the trend of movies being funny.
The first time comedy was funny.
Yeah.
The first time comedy movies were supposed to make you laugh was 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Now,
Right.
because I'm a bit of a film buff. I'm sure you guys know that about me.
Yep, that's you.
Now when I go back and watch like Buster Keaton movies, I'm not busting up laughing. I'm just scared that front of that house is gonna hit him up and smash him up real bad.
Luckily, it goes right through the window.
Yeah,
that's not funny. I'm not laughing.
That's just pure anxiety right there.
When the Three Stooges are poking each other in the eyes, I am saying that kind of violence. No.
No. Because guess what hurts? Getting poked in the eye.
Hurts really bad.
Guess what doesn't hurt?
Getting poked in the nostrils if you're an alligator.
Yes, yeah, because they don't have pain receptors there. That's funny.
I like that you just say that like it's a fact.
They don't have
pain receptors there.
I was watching this movie yesterday. Anna was in the other room. She walked in, and all she goes, "So this movie sounds pretty racist."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's really racist. And then I proceeded to tell her about the crocodile bit, and I couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through it without laughing. Just watch
what?
It. It's so.
It's
so
that
good.
funny to you?
It was so unexpected.
I trust your comic sensibilities. We work together a lot.
Yes.
I can't.
The next show I direct is gonna have somebody poking a crocodile in the nose. I can guarantee you that.
Dude, I did not even consider laughing at any point in this entire movie. I went into this with such an open mind. I got up early. I got my work done. I wasn't stressed out. I cooked some food, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit down. I have a bunch of time. I'm gonna sit down and watch this movie with an open mind.
What about when the bad guy,
right,
the ultimate bad guy, was playing golf, and he putted a golf ball into a guy's mouth, and he just swallowed it?
Yeah, that's not.
that was not funny to you?
No, there's no comedy in that to me. It's not funny at all.
Straight up just swallowed a golf.
I don't think that's funny. Why is that funny? Can you explain to me the
funny.
joke? Explain to me the joke, Andy, please.
Because a golf ball is so much bigger than a throat.
Right. So it's funny? That's funny because...
Yes, I'm crying.
Andy's crying just remembering how much he loves this movie.
No, please don't. I do not love this movie.
This movie was this far away from saying the N-word. This movie was like crazy towing the line.
Yeah.
I was very uncomfortable for huge swaths of it.
Most of it.
Yes. Before we get too far, and me defending some of the gags in it, this movie is reprehensible. Let's just get that out of the way. It is reprehensible. Like I said, didn't even cross my mind that he would do blackface. It's the first thing he does when he gets to Africa.
Yeah.
And it's
so long. It's the longest fucking scene I've ever seen in my life.
But not only that, it's like I think I have never seen an example of blackface in a movie more offensive than this.
I agree completely. It was just pure wrong, pure from start to finish. It was just bad. It wasn't like
the voice he's doing.
Yeah,
all of it. It's like one step away from like shoe polish and white lips. Like minstrel level shit. Like it's that bad.
Yeah, it's like one step in like how many freaking 1 step in 80 years. I mean, if you put this in the context of late in the 1990s, it is the worst. I challenge you to find more offensive blackface scene than Ernest Goes to Africa's opening Africa scene we'll say even going back 20 years before this. Find me anything more offensive than that scene.
Yeah,
you're not going to.
It's brutal.
It's very brutal.
For anybody out there listening, we got on an Ernest tangent last week. I Googled this movie just because I knew it existed, and I was going to be like, isn't it crazy that it existed? It is up and available for free on the Tubi app. That's how we all watched it.
Yeah.
Not that we're recommending you go do it.
I was actually
Tubi holic.
You know what? I
love Tubi.
I'm gonna take a second and say that I'm pretty impressed. I was scanning through Tubi. They got some good stuff on there. It's free. They got like The Big Short is on there, and like that's one of the.
I downloaded it like a month or two ago because there's a really interesting documentary about this kind of like pseudo religion from the from like 40 or 50 years ago called Losonomy. Okay. And this like lunatic ex-baseball player that started this thing. And it's called like The Last of the Losonomists. I would highly recommend that. Watch that instead of Ernest Goes to Africa.
Yeah, I would say just like put Ernest Goes to Africa at the very bottom of the list of things you would never watch, and then just let it live there. Let it stew there for
I've been thinking a lot about
forever.
So Linda Cash is the waitress in this with the pigtails. The
really,
one Ernest is in Africa with.
Really deep character with a good arc.
I like her in she's in Waiting for Guffman and in Best in Show.
Okay.
She's like a Second City Toronto person that I like, but she is in 2 of IFC's culturally insensitive comedies that somehow exist because she's in Ernest Goes to Africa and The Love Guru.
She's in The Love Guru too?
She is in The Love Guru. So, she's very funny in Waiting for Guffman. She plays Eugene Levy's husband.
Okay.
She's a really funny actress. I feel bad for her.
Who is she in Best in Show?
So,
I'll check.
what do we do? Okay, so
I remember that.
I think the most reprehensible thing was him in his blackface character.
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean, there's some
Other
close
than that, why
follow-ups
don't we
to
all
that.
go around, take a turn, say, other than that, what's the worst thing that you saw?
Ah, man.
I'll start it's first of all upsetting that the natives in the movie are cannibals who are going to eat him. The most upsetting part is when he speaks 70s African American vernacular English.
Yep.
But it's just quotes from songs and handshakes to the tribe in Africa.
Okay.
Here's the worst thing about that. They come up to this tribe. They need help. And Ernest goes, I got this. I speak 30 different Zulu dialects. And I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then the lady
is fucking right.
The the lady asks him, "How does he know that?" And he goes, "I worked in a record store."
Yeah, no, right there. That setup is almost as bad as what follows it. I agree with you completely.
And then and then
I was watching this alone and I left the room for this fucking part because I couldn't fucking do it.
Really, really rough.
It was really rough.
Darren, do you have an example?
Other than that one, how about we'll zoom out. We'll go really macro first of all before we get micro on this. I think that in a movie called Ernest Goes to Africa, there not being one black character in this movie who wasn't a side character, pretty not okay. First of all, just as a big picture observation,
the main bad guy is made out to be like a Muslim warlord or some shit. Clearly just a white man.
Yep. Yeah.
in face paint.
I think that I would. The fact that every single major character in this movie is just a white person, and the bit is they're out of place in Africa, like that right there is problematic enough. But we can get into the fact that this is a kids movie, and the blackface bad, the Ebonics talk going to I worked at a record store line, real bad, real racist. The part where the joke is he accidentally ended up in a harem, and he's dressed as a masked dancer, belly dancer. That's not funny to me at all, or good.
You know what is funny?
What's funny? What's real funny?
Is when he is being fed and he's got the face.
No.
The turkey leg goes in like this and then it comes out like a bone. That's funny.
None of it is funny. None of it is funny, man. Or even at the beginning where the dude is just like the waitress is just giving a plate of eggs to a fucking redneck dude, and he just like berates her because his eggs aren't runny, and like it's just like right off the bat, it's like every single interaction between male and female in this movie is fucking not okay and wrong.
That was a rude. I wrote that in my notes. Why is this guy being so rude to his waitress?
Why is everybody so rude to everybody in this movie?
I'll say my I didn't like the most offensive stuff is a lot of what we've already talked about.
Right.
But there were just these like little throwaway lines when they're getting chased by bad guys and they're launching ostrich eggs at the other car.
Oh yeah.
The woman, his love interest, what was her name? Renee. She goes. Mrs. Rosenai goes. Mrs. Rosenai, she's driving the car, and Mrs. Rosenai goes, "Whoosh! These drive-by shootings are worse than L.A." It's like, God.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a joke in this movie that was funny. I really don't think there was one. And I know, Andy, you got a couple gags that you liked, but
I was surprised Andy didn't say the ostrich egg thing fucking rocked.
I'm surprised about that also. I mean,
he did throw like a football that I appreciated.
It is not funny to me. Like, I'm gonna stand up and throw ostrich eggs at a car that's chasing me. Somebody just Chris Moody just commented Mark McGuire. So there's a comment with no context. Chris Moody, if you want to give us some context, I'll totally talk about it. But yeah, Mark McGuire is a comment in the feed. So totally. Andy, this movie was bad.
Yes,
we can agree at that.
Garbage
okay, cool.
disposals his fish.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about how he accidentally murders his fish.
Right.
There are like 3 or 4 moments where somebody is torturing another human being in this movie.
Yeah.
Including one part where they show the bad guy bury 2 people up to their necks and then have them be trampled by a rhinoceros. That's
not just trampled; they get their heads kicked off.
This is not a kids movie. I don't care what you say. There's nothing about this that is for kids.
This bad guy watches this rhino Dorothy destroy these 2 men, and then he comes his pants. Did you notice his reaction?
Yeah.
He's like, that's in a kids movie,
dude. That's every time they looked at Ernest's face, he's fucking coming his pants about whatever the fuck weirdo shit he's doing. God.
When the bad guy's watching Ernest dance in the harem, he's
so horny. He's hornier than I've ever been.
so horny. I cannot imagine licking my lips with that intensity.
And then he's just like begging, like, "Let me see your face."
Oh my goodness.
That part I did enjoy.
You thought it was hot, right?
Yeah. That was.
You
There is
enjoyed
that's a type of gag that shows up in old timey movies where it's like the main hero is trying to save a woman, so he dresses up like a woman, and the bad guy is attracted to that man in disguise. Like, ooh, who's that new harem dancer? Bring him over here. What the fuck was that?
Oh my goodness.
This movie felt like it came out much earlier than 1997.
Yeah, I would have said like 1914.
Yeah, this was Birth of a Nation level.
Level of a Birth of a Nation for sure. Like, holy fuck! My God.
Birth of a Nation 2, Ernest Goes to Africa.
Jesus fuck.
This is 3 years after the end of apartheid in South Africa. The movie was shot entirely on location in South Africa.
I thought it was a real missed opportunity for them not to comment on it.
What a they just missed the extra point kick there. They had it all teed up and they really just squandered that perfect opportunity to give their delicate, well thought out ideas of class and race. They did chloroform the waitress at one point, which was weird for a kids movie.
Again, you keep saying kids movie, and I disagree with you on this premise.
Sometimes in kids movies, a rhino kicks off people's heads.
Yeah.
So, I can never convince you to watch another Ernest movie.
I'll do it for the podcast. I will do it for Homerphilia. I won't smile or be happy about it. I really feel like this is the probably most wasted hour and a half I have spent devoted to anything in years.
As a kid, as a kid, Blockbuster had like all the Ernest movies, but they didn't have this one, and this was the one I could never see. And even as a kid, I was like, oh, it's probably racist.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have it because so many people would check it out because it's the best one.
In my memory of my little kid brain, Ernest Scared Stupid is great. Ernest Goes to School. Ernest Goes to Camp. Ernest Goes to Camp's probably the best one.
Well, I'll watch them. I'll happily watch them. But I would prefer it if we could watch them like, these should be ones that we watch in like a live setting once things reopen. I think that would be fun.
Now, what do you think that will be?
What?
In fall of 2021. So Uproxx said, and this is a quote on Ernest Goes to Africa. The relatively gentle racism of Ernest Goes to Camp and Ernest Slam Dunk was just a warm-up for this deeply embarrassing meltdown.
Thank you. Fucking thank you.
I thought you were saying that.
Yeah,
this one had
exactly. I agree. Our comment.
The gentle racism of Goes to Camp and Slam Dunk was just a warm-up for this deeply embarrassing meltdown.
Again, I don't remember any specifics of Ernest Goes to Camp.
Well, it's hard to imagine that any of the comedies from 30 years ago could possibly have any racial gaffes in it.
Ernest, Slam Dunk Ernest, again, the last time I watched it, I was like probably 9, so I don't remember any of the casual racism. But that movie is the exact plot of Like Mike. He finds magic tennis shoes, and he's the best basketball player that's ever been.
Yeah, it's probably just as bad. I agree.
They made a Like Mike 2, correct?
I think that they did make a Like Mike 2. I'm not
Was
entirely...
Little Romeo in it?
I don't know, man. Probably, maybe. Zach DeVore.
Hey, what up, Zach? That's my roommate.
Zach says there were multiple times where a woman Ernest dressed as had to justify themselves for defending themselves from men assaulting them. Yeah, that's fucking a problem. I agree. The joke is why am I defending myself from your fucking sexual assault? Yeah, that's not fucking funny. I am Ugh.
I wrote in my notes.
Oh,
The grandma character is outstanding.
Zach came out while I was watching. He's like, "You watching all the Ernest movies?" And I was like, "Yes, absolutely."
I think the grandma character is in every single one of these, and I think he is so funny as that old lady.
I don't. I mean, I
What I wanted from Jim Varney that we never got was a Nutty Professor 2, the Clumps style movie where he plays all of the characters dressed in different fat suits.
what we never got was a gritty film for adults set in the 70s where God damn, you know what? I am so I don't even
Horny.
no, horny is not the word. Like, if you could get like the opposite of horny, that's what this movie made me. It made me just fucking angry. It made me what?
Again, I texted you
The
guys
opposite of
earlier
horniness
today.
is not anger.
No, it's not.
What's the opposite of horny? Soft edged.
Floppy.
This movie made me very soft edged. No, I texted you guys earlier. Like, I don't know if we should go through with this plan.
I mean, it
because
was. I think
I don't know that the world needs the three of us talking about the blatant racism of this movie. But,
Yeah.
Disagree. Yes, it does.
I'm relieved that we're all on the same page mostly, except for Andy thinks there's a couple good jokes. There's not.
There's a couple gags.
Andy,
in the context. Okay.
Defender of this movie, Andy Reid.
Oh my god!
Noted champion of the film, Andrew Reid.
Remember when he tries to clandestinely chug calamine lotion because he was eating poison ivy? And he's like, look over there, and he's just chugging calamine lotion.
No one involved in the making of this film even knows what the word clandestine means.
Did anybody in this movie ever do anything ever again? Because they should not have been allowed to. Anybody
Jim
who
Varney went on to die of lung cancer.
Good for him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being insensitive, but fuck, man.
This was before Toy Story 2, so he worked with Pixar after this.
God damn it.
So again, Darren,
Linda Cash was in Best in Show after this.
I think that everybody who had anything to do with greenlighting or being a part of this movie should have been just fucking like taken and left in like the desert somewhere, just never to work again in film or TV or writing or anything. I genuinely, I mean it when I say this is my least favorite movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
I am working on a sequel.
My biggest thought while I was watching it, do you know that podcast, How Did This Get Made?
Yeah.
My biggest thought about this while I was watching it was that this would be the first episode about a podcast about movies called How Did People Let This Get Made?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's got to be like a room and a studio. I mean, this was filmed on location, right?
I mean, this
in South Africa.
Yeah, this was like a big thing.
There was a pitch meeting and a table read, and like producers said, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
if this movie came out today, D'Antwoord would have done the entire soundtrack.
Yeah, and fucking David Duke would have directed the goddamn thing, man. It was really fucking bad.
This was the Chappie of the '90s.
I feel like a broken record in how upset this movie makes me. And I'm gonna try to cool off. Yeah, go ahead.
What if I were to tell you that in another Ernest movie, he's a janitor and he gets electrocuted while using a vacuum cleaner, and then for the rest of the movie, he's got static electricity powers and can like stick to stuff and cling stuff and like has lightning.
It really just seems to me like, based on the loose knowledge I have of the other Ernest movies, they're all just bad racist remakes of plots of successful movies or comic books. Like that just sounds like fucking like Static Shock or whatever. And this movie was just Indiana Jones if it was bad and racist, and the other one's just like Mike if it was bad and racist, and the other one's.
But it was
While
like
I've got you guys
it was 10
here,
years before, like,
what sounds better, Son of Ernest Goes to Africa or Ernest Goes Back to Africa? For the sequel I'm working on.
I think it would be a misstep to ask somebody to reprise the role of Ernest. So I would.
I could see myself taking the mantle.
Well, I would go Son of Ernest.
Do you think I should play Son of Ernest?
I think
would say
that Ernest, as an idea,
your name is Ernie Worrell.
Yep.
Lil
Ernie Worrell.
Lil Ernie Worrell. And you're gonna take up the mantle. Ernest is completely asexual.
Correct.
I passionately.
No, he's horny for the waitress, but not in a sexual way.
But when she wants to kiss him, all he wants to do is talk about that Illinois Smith movie.
I passionately believe
they talk about a movie called Illinois Smith and the Curse of Hitler's Brain.
This franchise is like one movie away from like Ernest Helps Hitler being one of the movies.
Oh man.
He's not the hero.
No, he's not. What did he do in this movie? What did he do to better anything at all?
I also fundamentally don't understand the plot of the movie.
No. You find two giant blood diamonds, and then you make them into a yo-yo, and then you do a bunch of racist shit, and somehow you save the day? I don't.
I think what you have to do is consider Ernest to be a Gumpian tragic comedy hero. In the same way that Forrest.
Boy.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Forrest Gump is surrounded by genuinely good characters, like with not good
like
as in
Nixon.
as not necessarily morally good, but I mean like well built characters that carry that movie. You know, he's kind of like the fly on the wall, and then you have the historical context to ride the plot out, and you see the growth and time passing of characters that you genuinely care about, and you know he grows throughout all of it as well. And this movie has none of that, like nothing.
Oh, I've got a pitch. Okay, what
Go
if
ahead.
you take the movie The Master, Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master?
Yeah, no, I love
and you
it.
make Ernest the Joaquin Phoenix character. Everyone else is the same.
Yeah, at least rocket fuel is an excuse for being a goddamn brain
rocket fuel, Ernest
melted
rocket
idiot.
fuel
Yeah,
rock.
it would make sense if you were like Ernest is all fucked up because he drank rocket fuel on the ships. Then yeah, this makes sense. There's some context there that makes me understand it.
No fucking shit. You bring up the Master in my notes. You know that one scene with the main bad guy and like the British bad guy?
Yeah.
There was like there's like a 5-minute scene of them like talking at each other.
Right.
I wrote in my notes that this is the same thing as Joaquin and Phil Seymour scene in The Master. It was that level of acting prowess just colliding on stage. It was electric.
I think that you need
Here's
to.
my pitch, is that I'm going to update Forrest Gump for now. I think the world needs to see what Gump would be up to in the last 4 years. So we'll put him in all of the Trump situations. What do you guys think? Like put Forrest Gump at at the game where Colin Kaepernick took a knee, put him at Charlottesville, put him all over. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a.
Forrest
that
Gump,
sounds like a
showing
fun
up for
romp
Monday Night
in this.
Improv at Planet Ant.
That sounds like a fun romp in the same way that Ernest Goes to Africa is a kids movie. That's not racist.
It is devastating that Forrest Gump came out before 9/11 because
Did you know they were in pre-production on Forrest Gump 2, and then 9/11 happened, and they had a meeting after 9/11 where they were like, how can we tastefully put Gump at 9/11, and they decided to scrap the movie.
Okay, I would love to see Forrest Gump at Woodstock '99 with Limp Bizkit and Korn and Rage
I would
Against
watch
the
that.
Machine.
I would see that. That's a scene I'd be interested in.
I would love to see
Gump at Lehman Brothers during the 2008 recession.
Yeah.
Gump at the White House when Trump fed all those athletes McDonald's, cold McDonald's.
Oh, God.
That'd be a rousing movie.
McDonald's rocks.
Especially McDonald's that's been sitting out for 45 or 50 minutes. That really
McDonald's notoriously long shelf life.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I mean, we've all been spending too much time on the internet recently because we're all holed up in our houses.
Yeah.
I read this story about this dude in like upstate Michigan who bought a McDonald's hamburger and put it in his coat pocket and forgot about it. And then he found his coat in the closet 14 years later, and the hamburger is perfectly fine.
They don't mold because of there's so many preservatives that they just don't rot or mold. It's bad.
He went on the local news and was like, I really think there's money in this. I'm sure there's somebody out there that would buy my 15-year-old McDonald's hamburger.
So I've got one like that. In 2009, this dude named Hojerder Smarson bought the last McDonald's order sold in Iceland before they closed down the final McDonald's in Iceland. So there is no more McDonald's. But he kept the entire order, and they take pictures of it every couple of years to be like, let's check in on Iceland's last McDonald's order. And it still looks exactly the same. It's in a museum right now.
Hell yeah. Now, if you had a possession that you were going to donate to a museum, what would it be?
Is it something I do have, or is it something I wish I had?
No, something that you have. What is the thing that you own that would be good in a museum?
Like, is this a bid or is this real?
It's real.
I don't know anymore.
I agree. So I was. This is actually like relatively real. I mean, it is real. It's not a bit. It's not funny. I was cleaning out a house and I found an autographed handwritten letter written by Langston Hughes that I have. So that would be good in a museum, I think. Right?
I won a poetry contest my junior year of high school, and they gave me a $25 gift card to Barnes and Noble, and I used it to buy a Langston Hughes poetry book.
Really?
Oh,
that's a good one.
As far as stuff I have at my house that I think would go in a museum, I did, and I feel guilty about this. I did take, when I did visit the Sinkatutu tribe,
yeah,
I did steal the eyes of a goalie, and I have that at my house, and I would donate that to a museum.
Did you turn him into a yo-yo, and then it made all this kids movie hijinks?
I did make it into a yo-yo for my girlfriend Renee Loomis.
Right.
So it was yeah, the eyes of a goalie probably.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. I have
Andy, you don't know?
You don't
know
know.
what I
You
have that
prompted
would
the
be worth-
question. I thought you had something
know.
built up, man.
No,
When I was at your house, you did say, "Do you want to come see my special treasure?" And you took me down to the basement, and then you had a sub basement beneath that, and we almost got to the like locked vault doors, and you started to open it, but then Anna was like, "Hey, can you guys come help me out here?" And we went outside, and I never got to see it. What do you keep behind that vault door in your sub basement?
I want to know too.
all the members of Incubus.
What? Are they working on anything new right now?
That's the hope, but they're really responding poorly to
joke laughing.
imprisonment. The goal was them to force them to write a new album, but they're really responding poorly to imprisonment. So
do
I
they
don't know.
do they even know about the pandemic or anything? Because
No, I mean, their lives have been a pandemic for the last 6 or 7 years. They've just been sitting down there. So I don't know. I just wanted I just wanted them to write some new music, and I thought that this would motivate them, and it hasn't. So, but at this point, I can't let them go.
Well, okay, which one's your favorite? Brandon, Mike, Jose, Chris, or Ben?
Probably Chris and Ben.
Yeah, because you like the turntables, keyboards, theremins, synthesizers, piano, bass, backing vocals, and additional keyboards that the two of them play.
Mostly, I like the additional keyboards. That's my favorite part. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I love additional keyboards.
Obviously, we can all agree that the best Incubus song is "The Reason."
Wait a minute, buddy. Did you kidnap the wrong band?
No, everybody's favorite Incubus song, and the reason is you.
Oh, you mean like how Incubus is their other best song is "Crawling in the Dark," right?
Person.
Buddy, I think you might have kidnapped the wrong band. You're thinking of the Fray.
I never meant to do bad things to you.
You're thinking of The Reason by the Fray.
I am so excited that the ones of people listening right now heard me make a Hoobastank reference.
I knew that one day you would make a Hoobastank reference. I feel like this is our second Hoobastank reference.
My favorite Hoobastank song is "Cable Car Over My Head."
Mine is
"How to Save a Life."
Mine is probably 2 in the Pink, 1 in the Hoobastank.
One in the Hoobastank.
Fucking hate everything about
the...
this. Can I go home? I am home. Can I?
I have a pitch for a movie called Ernest Scared Hoobastinky.
I have a... Wait. Me saying 2 in the Pink, 1 in the Hoobastink made you want to go home, Darren?
All right, but how does it make you feel if I say 2 in the Pink, 1 in the Stinkubus?
Stinkubus. if they did like a mashup record called Hoobastinkubus.
Hoobastinkubus. Hoobastinkubus. Hoobastinkubus. Hoobastinkubus.
Hey, Chris Fortin. Yeah, Google Hoobastank and catch up with us and let us know what you think. Chris Fortin, it's good to see you in the chat.
Hi, Chris.
About Hoobastinkubus.
Hooba Stinkubus. Hoobastinkubus. Hoobastinkubus. The reason is you.
Oh, that is just good stuff.
It's really good.
That is rich.
It's really, really rich. It's good.
I was recently watching Hoobastank music videos because the song Crawling in the Dark appears on the 2002 GameCube game Aggressive Inline.
Oh, yeah, because Inline is back.
Inline is back.
In a
I
major
own
way.
Aggressive Inline, the video game. I play it for GameCube. I have inline skates, and I am using them all the time. And I want to go ahead and tell all of our viewers, get your rollerblades out of storage. Meet me at the skate park. Inline skating is back and stronger than it's ever been.
Great.
Now, did you ever play Razor Freestyle Scooter?
No. Is that real?
Oh, yeah. It's called Razor Freestyle Scooter. It was a video game on the PlayStation 1. I played it hardcore. Google it. It's worth a Google.
It doesn't sound like a good game.
No, it's like do you know how fun skateboarding is?
Allegedly.
Okay. But do you also know how fun inline skating is?
Again,
yes.
I think it could potentially be fun.
Now, what if you combine those two things with a handle, and you could really hurt your ankle because it swings around, hurts you real bad.
You think that Razor is more?
Did you say Google it or order it on Amazon for $4?
Do it.
I already did. I've already confirmed the order.
Do you have a system that would play that?
I have a PS1 that I bought at Salvation Army in Royal Oak 2 years ago for $6. So
Wow.
I now have a $10 investment if you count. Well, and shout out to my best friend and roommate, Zach. When I bought that, him and I played Tekken 2 and Tekken 3. We also ordered a game called VIP, which is a Pamela Anderson video game. So
Hell yeah!
I did order that. I ordered it.
Wow, the Razor Freestyle Scooter soundtrack is we got the Sloppy Meat Eaters on there.
Wow.
We got X number 5.
Wow.
We got Six Shift. You guys remember the song
Whoa.
Despicable by Six Shift?
I don't.
Do you guys remember
I do.
Do you guys remember I'm Not Giving Up on This by the band Never Too Late?
No.
Fuck yeah.
I did play Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX too.
Wow.
And I want to say that had a really good soundtrack, but I feel like it had Bombs Over Baghdad by Outkast on it,
Ooh.
but I'm
I
not
feel
sure.
I feel like that song was in every single video game from the year it came out.
Yeah, it had to. I mean, it had to be, right?
I think
Yeah.
you're
Devin's gone.
Oh no, Devin's gone.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh jeez.
probably.
Whoa, whoa. Wait, he's there.
Oh boy. Okay, wait.
What'd you do? You're back.
I'm back. Okay, so Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2. We got Buggin' Out by A Tribe Called Quest.
Ooh.
We got She Sells Sanctuary by The Cult.
Ooh.
We got Wake Up by Rage Against the Machine.
Ooh.
We got Awake by Godsmack.
Oh.
Moment of Truth by Gangstar.
Okay.
Got some pretty wild shit on there.
Yeah, it's not bad, I guess. Not bad at all.
I think we're officially alone on this feed, guys.
Alone? No, we got
My mom
viewers.
was listening earlier, and
We
I was
have
wondering if
we're
because
on
she
like
could feel us
12
saying her
different
name.
we're on like 12 different things right now. We're on like 4 different Facebook pages and YouTubes and Twitches and Periscopes. I got people in the chat. I can see it. I got the
Okay.
unified chat that has all of them together.
Okay.
There's people. Damn it. But we're approaching we're a little bit over an hour right now. Do we have a change in our favorite episodes?
This is my favorite episode
Oh my god.
of the Ernest series.
Okay, so we'll do
Yeah,
that.
we've
We'll do
only
the
got
Ernest thing.
because we're gonna do all 9 of them.
All right. That's fine with
Since
me.
we're doing all 9
Okay.
so far, this is
So,
my favorite Ernest movie.
by
It legally
default,
has to be.
Here
It's
at
also-
Homerphilia, one of the things that we're
Yes.
doing is every time we do a podcast, we watch one episode, we do a podcast. We then decide what our favorite episode of The Simpsons is up until that point in the rewatch that we're at. So we're all, I don't remember where I was at. I don't remember at all. But either way,
you liked Lisa. No, you liked the one before. Oh fuck it.
Blood
doesn't matter.
Feud. I feel like I changed it since what's
Yeah,
the
you
very
did.
last episode we watched?
I changed for the last episode. Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington.
Oh, I did not. I'm
And
still at
you
Blood Feud.
like Stark Raving Dad,
Stark Raving Dad, that's right.
and Devin's still at
Lisa's Substitute.
Lisa's Substitute.
So Ernest definitely worse than all of these. I would argue that Ernest is worse than the worst episode of The Simpsons, which is Homer's Night Out, which I think this is still the worst thing we've ever watched.
Agreed.
I think it's pretty safe to say that.
But
Of
You got
the
your
Ernest,
favorite jokes?
We also do favorite jokes.
It's fucking difficult. I mean, I'd like to think that this whole thing could be a joke.
You know what? If you're not going to take it seriously,
I guess my favorite joke is I've got a whole shelf full of schmo gifts. I will care about yours forever. But even that's not good.
Andy, I can only imagine your favorite joke.
When he put his fingers in the crocodile's nose,
Yeah.
Yep, when he did the 2 in the stink.
two in the
2 in the
stinker,
ping.
because the nose can smell stuff. So it's
Oh,
the stink,
2 in the stinker.
two in the stinker.
Right.
My favorite joke of this episode was when Ernest is talking about all the gadgets he has, and they do a cut to reveal he is in a full Gundam of
Oh, yeah.
cool shit. He looks like a fucking full mech suit of like rhino gloves. That fucking rocks. I would love to see just a movie where Ernest has a Gundam.
Hell yeah. Goes Gundam.
Ernest Goes Gundam. Hubus Thinkubus and Ernest Goes Gundam. Those are the takeaways I have from this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, well, we did it, you guys. We watched a trash movie and talked about it for over an hour.
Wow.
Wow, I can't believe I squandered some of my precious free time.
Yeah. Not
what little free time we have.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to figure out where to watch Dumb and Dumber.
It's not on
I don't
any
know
of the
that
stuff.
it's anywhere.
This
is not.
Maybe we won't
don't
do
have
Dumb and
to
Dumber.
talk
We'll
this.
figure this out off the air, and we'll on Sunday we'll let everybody know what we're gonna watch for next Thursday, for sure. But we'll be back on Sunday to do episode
Simpsons.
actual Simpsons episode. Back to moving forward, we're gonna be doing Simpsons episodes on Sundays and then some other thing on Thursdays for the foreseeable future at 7:00 for both of those. So anybody out there listening, watching, join us on Sundays and Thursdays at 7:00, and we will have stuff and entertainment. And you can participate too via the chat. You can message our social media pages and give us suggestions of things to watch for Thursdays and stuff like that. And we'll happily consume stuff and talk about it. Because that's what we do. Do we have sponsors today?
Oh, right. I forgot we got to thank the sponsors.
Right.
I would like to thank Huba Stinkybus,
Right.
my new favorite band.
Yep. Devin, you got anything?
I would like to thank the Gundam Corporation
Right.
for providing me with a Gundam that actually has inline skates on it.
Wow.
In case you want to skate as your Gundam.
Right. Well, I don't have a sponsor per se, but I do have an announcement. Every sponsor that we've had up until this point has officially left us as a sponsor. Because of Ernest Goes to Africa. So
because we did sign that contract saying we would specifically never watch this movie and discuss it on a podcast.
So from this point forward, we will be rebuilding our sponsor repertoire. So sorry to all of our sponsors that we have let you down and offended you. We hope we can win you back one day. But that's the announcement I have.
Sounds good.
Well, everybody, we will be back Sunday at 7:00. Right? It's Thursday today. Yeah, so Friday, Saturday, 3 days from now. 3 days from now, we'll be back.
Thursday today?
It's Thursday today. We'll be back. What episode are we on? Season 3, episode 4. I believe
season 3, episode 3.
Season 3, episode 3. So if you want to actually talk Simpsons about in comment in the thread.
It's weird now because Disney Plus says that the one we just watched is episode 1.
Okay, so on Disney Plus, we are season 3, episode 2. So if you want to join us and watch some Simpsons and talk about it in the chat, Sunday at 7:00, watch season 3, episode 2.
We'll be watching the episode
When Flanders Fails.
Oh,
this is a good one. Yeah.
Awesome. So this is a good one to join in on. So we will be talking about it. And if you're listening in the future, obviously we are well ahead of that. But for this Sunday, it is Flanders Fails. But until then, everybody, support your artists, support Planet Ant. You can look at the links at the bottom of the screen. PlanetAnt.com for any more information. PlanetAnt.com/donate. If you want to support us while we're closed right now, our Venmo's just at Planet Ant. If you want to throw a couple bucks our way, that would be helpful. We are streaming just about every night and lots of the days with stuff that we do. Homerphilia is just one of the many podcasts on Planet Ant Podcast Network, but there's tons of stuff every single day we're trying to do online during this quarantine to keep you entertained. So check out this channel and ring the bell and follow and like and all that fun stuff. And that's all I got. What do you guys got?
Not much.
Hell yeah. So all right, I guess that's it, right?
Yeah. Godspeed.
All right, bye everybody. We love you.
We love you.